Here's why your best employees keep quitting. And I'll give you a hint, it's not about the money. I'm going to be starting my new role on February 23rd. That was how the conversation started. And if you're a manager or a business owner, you already know what happens next. That sinking feeling in your chest, and your mind immediately runs through everything. All this time you invested helping the person understand the business, the mentoring and training you poured into their growth, the hole that this is going to leave on your team. And then the stress compounds. You start thinking about the future. You'll need to reverse engineer everything they do. You'll be filling gaps while trying to hit deadlines. You'll be interviewing, onboarding, and retraining again. And you'll be trying to protect your culture while doing all of it. I get it. I've been there. Losing a key contributor feels like a gut punch, except this time it didn't. And I'll explain why in a minute. But first, I want to normalize something. You're not wrong. The data supports your gut reaction. According to National Labor and Workforce Studies, U.S. companies lost $2.9 trillion due to employees leaving their jobs in 2025 alone. And the average company loses 13% of its workforce every year. So if you run a team of 20 people, chances are you'll have to replace 3 of them this year, whether you want to or not. And the hard costs are extreme. It turns out that the cost of an employee turnover is between 50 and 200% of their annual salary. This is factoring in things like recruiting, onboarding, disruption, and lost productivity. And here's the part that people don't think about, but I know you do. Managers like you absorb the pain. You're the one redistributing work and carrying all the stress, all while trying to keep the team engaged while they're short-staffed. So yes, the dread is real. The cost is real. And it's completely understandable that you'd be overwhelmed when it happens. But here's the good news. Turnover is predictable. And when you can predict something, you can plan for it. In this video, we're gonna unpack why employees actually leave, why this time it was different for me, how to not be stressed out when turnover happens, and 2 powerful tools that can minimize the pain: continuous alignment and standard work, which is documenting your standard processes. If implemented effectively, these tools will lengthen tenure, make turnover predictable, and lessen the burden when turnover happens. And the recipe is simple. It all starts with one word: alignment. Why employees actually leave. Employees don't leave because you don't have kombucha on tap. They don't leave because of a missing perk, and they don't leave because they have to come into the office. These are all just symptoms of the root cause. They leave because their values, goals, or career trajectory no longer align with the company or the role. And the data backs this up consistently. WorkInstitute.com's retention report cited that career development and role alignment are the leading causes of turnover. Now, misalignment shows up when the role wasn't what they were sold in the interview. The scope quietly expands beyond expectations, compensation doesn't match responsibility, growth caps out, or life priorities shift and the role no longer fits. You have to be clear at the start and paint an accurate representation of what the role and career progression actually looks like. If you paint a picture that doesn't match reality, they will leave. If you underpay someone hoping that they'll stick it out, they will leave. And if you don't define success clearly, or the role changes into something else that doesn't align with what they want to do, chances are they will leave. Now, managers who create a fun environment don't escape this reality. Entertainment and good vibes can keep someone for a stint, but great employees leave when the role no longer aligns with where they're going. And that brings me back to my story. Why this time it was different. When my employee told me that she'd accepted another role, I wasn't upset. I was genuinely excited for her. Not because losing her didn't matter. It actually did. She had the personality and the work ethic that was the ideal for my team. Honestly, I consider myself a good example of the environment that I want for my team, but she was better. So why wasn't I stressing out? Because we had done the work early. In fact, her exit was part of the plan that we'd worked on together. And this plan only involves 2 steps that, when implemented effectively, will reduce turnover and make it predictable when it happens. How to not be stressed out when turnover happens. Most leaders miss this part. As team members develop, sometimes their growth trajectory expands beyond the scope of the team. Life changes, personal interests evolve, and opportunities emerge. So instead of trying to prevent turnover forever, which is impossible, build a system that incorporates turnover as a part of your long-term plan. 2 powerful tools. Alignment will get team members to stay around for longer than average and make turnover predictable, while developing a culture of standard work will make it straightforward when turnover is unavoidable. In fact, these 2 things will not only make turnover less impactful, it will change your team into a growth-oriented team. giving opportunities for junior team members to take on more advanced work from their peers, and eliminate the stress of being surprised. Number 1, continuous alignment. Align right out of the gate and check in and adjust as you go. Now, what is it that you're aligning on? The three-legged stool: money, culture, and career advancement. Each of these impact alignment, and checking in on these regularly allows you to notice shifts in the balance between each. So you start this in the interview. Align on the candidate's expectations today as well as the future. Then use quarterly check-ins to make sure that the employee's growth goals still align with your vision for the role. These regular check-ins virtually eliminate surprises. Assuming you're asking the right questions, you should be able to keep a good pulse check on your employees and whether the role still aligns with their career trajectory. If it does, you're good, and keep giving them work that aligns with their career goals. And if it doesn't, that's okay. In fact, if employees tell you that something's off, that speaks volumes about your culture. Ask questions to get a sense of what changes could help. If you have the ability to give them more of what they want, great. But if not, that's where step 2 comes in: standard work. Admittedly, standard work is not very sexy, and that's why it's generally neglected. But it literally makes your organization turnover-proof, eliminating the scramble when vacation, sick time, and extended PTO are used. Standard work also allows you to freely encourage a balanced work-life culture. It drives employee satisfaction, and the best part is that for the experts on your team, it's easy. Developing standard work means documenting the processes such that anyone with the appropriate skill level should be able to do it. And the bonus for developing standard work? It actually drives ownership if implemented properly. According to the self-determination theory, when things like autonomy, so the development and ownership of standard work, are present, job satisfaction, engagement, and happiness increases. So what does good standard work look like? Well, it's expert developed, it's stored in a central location, and it's taught to other teammates so that backups are ready for coverage. When you have an expert build and train the processes that they know very well, it drives ownership and increases a feeling of worth on a team. When you create backups on your team, you create team resiliency, allowing experts to grow and take on new work while securing continuity should they choose to leave. The real takeaway. Back to my story. My employee brought up in our regular one-on-one that she was accepting a new role on February 23rd. My response? I'm so excited for you. I'm glad that we finally found the opportunity that's going to allow you to grow and up-level the skills that you've mastered on my team. Go crush it. I'd known that the employee was looking for a new job where she could leverage the skills that she'd learned and developed over the past 4 years of contributing on my team. She wanted to grow beyond the scope that my immediate team could provide. We'd been talking about it for the past 6 months, and I was actually able to help her interview prep and provided a letter of recommendation to the new leader whose team she ended up joining. Her workload was covered by backfills spread out across my team. This made transitioning out of her role easy and straightforward for her, and eliminated stress from both myself and my team, who didn't need to scramble. And the best part about all of this is that she felt supported the entire time. It is possible to have stress-free growth conversations with your team, even when that growth means they leave for another opportunity. So get alignment and keep it, and ensure your standard work is practiced religiously. I honestly hope this helps your teams thrive. Thanks for watching.